At 72 years old, I woke up in a silent room, staring at a ceiling that was no longer mine. I once had mansions, imported cars, and bank accounts that seemed bottomless. On that morning, however, I had only an old suitcase and a question that hurt more than the loss of the money. How does a man who won everything manage to lose what is essential? If you believe that wealth protects you from certain mistakes, listen until the end. I believed that for decades, and I was wrong. Introduction. My name doesn't matter as much as the lesson I carry. I spent my entire life building assets, status, and respect. I was called a visionary, a genius, a winner. But today, I speak to you as someone who learned too late. If real, deep, and transformative stories resonate with you, subscribe to the channel and stay with me. Perhaps my fall can prevent yours. I grew up learning that money was security. My father used to repeat that those without a safety net have no peace. I took that as a mission. I started working early, slept very little, and won fast. Every goal achieved immediately turned into a bigger one. By 30, I already had more than I had dreamed of having at 60. Ambition felt like a virtue. No one questioned it. Neither did I. I learned to measure people by results, days by figures, and years by growth. The world applauded me, so I assumed I was right. The problem with ambition is that it never warns you when it stops being an engine and starts becoming blindness. I confused discipline with coldness, and focus with absence. Everything was justifiable in the name of the future, a future I kept pushing further down the road. I told myself that once everything was stable, I would rest. When the portfolio was diversified, I would be present. When the company was mature, I would be generous. But the when never arrived. And I didn't realize that every postponement was charging me invisible interest. While my numbers grew, my bonds shrank. Birthdays became postponable commitments. Conversations turned into quick text messages. I was always too busy to listen. My family learned not to expect me. My friends learned not to insist. I believed I was sacrificing the present out of love for their future. It was comfortable to think that way. External applause anesthetized any guilt. After all, I was providing. I just didn't realize that presence cannot be outsourced. Success demands silence. You stop listening to simple advice because it doesn't come wrapped in charts or data. I began to trust only in spreadsheets and contracts. People became calculable risks. Emotions became noise. I believed that control was the same as security. The more money I accumulated, the more fences I built around myself. Long contracts, expensive insurance, specialized consultants, clauses for every imaginable scenario. I called it prudence, but today I know it was fear disguised as intelligence. Over time, I began to trust only myself. Past results became absolute proof that I would always be right. When someone questioned a decision, I heard it as an attack. When a warning arose, I treated it as pessimism. After all, I had won before. Why wouldn't I win again? The truth is that money creates a bubble. Inside it, mistakes take a long time to make noise. They accumulate in silence, like invisible cracks in a dam. I made decisions faster and faster, less debated, more solitary. I confused speed with competence. Control became an illusion when I started believing I could predict everything. I didn't see that the greatest risk was exactly that. Thinking the unexpected couldn't reach me. Arrogance doesn't arrive screaming, it arrives whispering compliments.
People expect a grand mistake, an absurd gamble, or a clear betrayal. But the error that destroyed everything seemed too small to be scary. I stopped listening. I stopped sharing decisions. I centralized everything in myself because it worked, until the day it didn't. I ignored simple advice because it didn't come from famous voices. I devalued those who truly knew me and overvalued those who merely confirmed my ideas. With every choice, I drifted a little further from reality. This kind of error doesn't cause an immediate collapse. It corrodes. It weakens the foundation while the facade is still shining. I remained confident, believing I was just being firm, when in fact I was being blind. The problem with such a mistake is that it hides behind temporary results. As long as there is profit, no one questions you. Not even yourself. The fall didn't come as a sudden disaster. It came in stages. Small losses first. Then adjustments. Then explanations. I still tried to maintain the image of control, even when everything was already slipping through my fingers. I started protecting my reputation before protecting people. I made cold choices just to look strong. But strength without conscience is nothing but rigidity. By the time I finally faced reality, it was too late. The money left faster than it arrived. And along with it went those who were only around while I seemed invincible. When it all ended, there was no audience. There were no headlines. There was only silence. A silence so vast it seemed to echo inside me. For the first time in decades, I woke up without a schedule, without meetings, without urgent messages. The phone didn't ring. And that hurt more than the loss of the money. I spent years believing that noise was a sign of importance, that being needed was the same as being loved. In the silence, I realized how much I had confused utility with value. Without the money, without the title, without the power to decide, I found myself naked before my own soul. This void brought back memories I had pushed away, interrupted conversations, postponed promises, disappointed looks I pretended not to notice. There were no more distractions to protect me. Every thought came in full, heavy and true. That was when I began to understand that applause doesn't sustain anyone once the curtain closes. Silence, on the other hand, teaches. It reveals who you were when no one was watching. When the noise ceased, I began to notice what was still there. It wasn't much. A few simple clothes. A small place to sleep. And a few people. Fewer than I imagined, but more than I deserved. These people didn't ask how much I had lost. They didn't want to know about my glorious past. They simply stayed. Sometimes in silence, sometimes in small gestures. And it unnerved me. I spent my life believing that value had to be proven. They showed me that value can simply be recognized. My health also remained, still enough to walk, think and learn. And time remained. Not a lot of it, but real time, not the kind I always promised to use later. For the first time, time wasn't a tool. It was an opportunity. It was in this simple space that I learned something fundamental. When you lose almost everything, you discover what was never truly yours. For a long time, wealth meant accumulating. Now, it means aligning. Aligning what I think with what I do. What I say with how I live. What I promise with what I deliver. I learned to slow down. To listen without planning my response. To accept that not every conversation needs a conclusion. I discovered the value of saying no to what drains me and yes to what nourishes me. Wealth became waking up in peace. Sleeping without a heavy heart. Looking someone in the eye without rushing. These things never appeared on financial balance sheets, but they are what sustain a life. Money has its use. It would be a lie to say otherwise. But it doesn't build meaning. It only amplifies what already exists. In my case, it amplified the emptiness, until I decided to fill it with something real. Today, I have less. And, paradoxically, I feel more whole. I always thought a legacy was something grand, buildings, companies, numbers that would outlive my name. Now I understand that legacy is much quieter. Legacy is what you leave in people when you are gone. It's the tone of your words. It's your patience in difficult moments. It's the example you set when no one is observing. I began sharing my failures, not my achievements. I discovered that my falls taught more than my successes ever did. People didn't need a hero, they needed someone honest. If I could sit across from the man I was at 30, I wouldn't talk about money. I wouldn't talk about investments, strategies, or missed opportunities. I would talk about time. About how it moves faster than any chart can show. I would tell him that success is not speed. That growing too fast charges a silent price. I would tell him that listening does not diminish authority, and that sharing decisions is not a sign of weakness, but of maturity. I would repeat, as many times as necessary, that people are not stepping stones. I would warn him about the danger of postponing the essential. How there will always be a next project, a next goal, a next justification. And that, meanwhile, real life happens without waiting for permission. I tell him to call home more often, to sit at the table without a watch, to listen to stories that don't yield profit but build memories. Maybe he wouldn't listen. I didn't listen when I was warned. But still, I would speak. Because some truths only make sense after the cost has been paid. If this video were the only message that could cross through time, it would be this: do not confuse success with value. Money amplifies who you are, but it never corrects who you failed to be. Closing, final thoughts. If you've made it this far, it wasn't by accident. Stories like mine don't attract those who are distracted. They find those who, deep down, already feel that something needs to change. I'm not here to demonize money. It is useful and necessary. The mistake is putting it at the center. The mistake is thinking that to prosper financially means being protected from life. It doesn't. Don't make the same mistake I did. Don't wait for a fall to review your priorities. There is still time. Time to call someone you've been putting off. Time to sit at the table without rushing. Time to align your success with your conscience. If this story helped you, keep the lesson. Apply it today, not tomorrow. Because life doesn't give you a notice period. It demands coherence. In the end, what remains are not the numbers or the titles. What remains is who you were when you had the choice. Take care of that, while there is still time. If this story spoke to you, please subscribe to the channel. We talk about the lessons life only teaches when it's almost too late. Leave a like to help this reach someone who needs it. And comment below, which part of this story hit closest to home for you. Perhaps my fall can prevent yours.